So, you've probably seen all the headlines from Tesla and Elon Musk lately. A new car spotted here, a tweet there. It can feel kind of random, right? Well, what if I told you it's not random at all? It's all part of one giant, and I mean giant, AI master plan. Today, we're going to connect all those dots. All right, so here's how we're going to tackle this. We're starting with this stuff you can actually see on the road. Then we'll peel back the curtain and look at the crazy tech, the chips, the supercomputers that's powering the whole thing. First up, let's talk hardware. Because this isn't just a bunch of fancy presentations anymore. Nope, we're seeing real physical proof of Tesla's self-driving dream hitting the streets, and honestly, in some pretty surprising ways. So get this. A CyberCab was just spotted driving around with no mirrors. But that's not even the craziest part. Where was it? Not in sunny California or Texas. No. This thing was spotted in the middle of a Chicago winter. We're talking snow, ice, road salt, the works. This tells you they're not just testing in perfect conditions anymore. Things are getting serious. And don't think this is just some one-off prototype for a photo op. Nope, Tesla's actually spending real money, ordering parts, and getting its supply chain ready. That's a huge sign that the production line is set to start rolling in just a handful of months. The countdown is on. And while all that's happening, the existing Robotaxi fleet is quietly growing. You know, the Model Ys? There are now over 200 of them cruising around Austin and the Bay Area. And this isn't some science experiment. It's a real business, already pulling in something like $1.5 to $2 million in revenue every single month. Okay, so you've got the cars, but what's actually making them smart? It all comes down to the silicon brains inside. And believe me, this is where Tesla's plan goes from ambitious to, well, kind of mind-blowing. So Elon just laid out this whole roadmap for their custom AI chips. It goes like this. AI4, the chip in cars right now, is all about being superhumanly safe. Then comes AI5, which is shooting for near perfection. That's the one that'll power the new cars and the Optimus robot. But wait, it gets wilder. AI6 is for their data centers, and AI7, they're literally designing that one for computing in space. Yes, space. Okay, and this right here is where your jaw might drop. Just look at the jump from the current AI4 chip to the next one, AI5. We're talking a 10 times increase in raw computing power and 9 times more memory. This isn't just a little upgrade, you guys. It's a colossal leap forward. And they're not just building bigger chips. They're building them faster, way faster. It used to take them years between designs. Now, the goal is to crank out a brand new chip design every 9 months. That is an absolutely blistering pace that almost nobody else can keep up with. And if you want to know just how important this is, listen to this. Elon himself said that solving the AI5 chip was existential for Tesla. Existential. He was personally spending his Saturdays working on it. So yeah, this isn't just some part in a car. It's the bedrock for their entire future. Okay, so new cars, new chips, that's all great. But it brings up a huge question, right? What about the millions of Teslas that are already out there driving around with the older hardware? I mean, there are about 4 million cars with what's called Hardware 3. And for the longest time, everyone wondered, are these cars just going to be left behind? Will they ever get real full self-driving? Well, something just came out that gives us a really fascinating answer. It turns out they filed a new patent for a super clever software trick. See, instead of trying to cram a massive modern AI program onto older hardware, which just wouldn't work, this new method breaks the data down into smaller bite-sized pieces that the old Hardware 3 can actually process. It's basically a software patch for a hardware limitation. Pretty smart, right? And the money side of this? Oh man, it is just staggering. Think about it. If Tesla actually makes this work, and even just half of those 4 million owners decide to subscribe to FSD, that's a potential $200 million in extra revenue. Not total, every single month. That's a game changer. But here's the thing. You can have the best cars, the most amazing chips, but none of it matters without the one secret ingredient. A truly insane amount of computing power to actually train these AI models in the first place. And on that note, remember Dojo, Tesla's custom supercomputer? Well, after things went kind of quiet for a while, it's back. They're firing up the project again. And this is so important, because it's the machine they built from the ground up just to train their car AI.
Now, to really get your head around the scale of compute we're talking about, let's look at what's happening at Musk's other company, xAI. It's not Tesla, but the thinking is the same. Their new supercomputer, Colossus 2, is up and running, and it uses over a gigawatt of power. A gigawatt! To put that in perspective for you, that is more electricity than the entire city of San Francisco uses. Just wow.
And it's not just how big these things are, it's how fast they're being built. The first Colossus supercomputer went up in just 122 days. The second one is already online, and the next ones they're planning are aiming for more than double the power. It just shows this absolutely relentless drive to own the compute game across all his companies.
All right, so let's zoom all the way out. Let's tie all these threads together into the big picture. How does a nerdy chip design connect to a CyberCab driving through the snow in Chicago? Here's how it all fits.
So, piece number one, it all starts with the chip. By designing their own silicon, their own brains, they're not stuck with what someone else makes. This gives them a massive leg up on cost, on power usage, and most importantly, they can tailor-make the hardware to run their software perfectly. Piece number two, these chips aren't just for one thing. They're the brains for the cars, and they're the brains for the Optimus robot. Why does that matter? Well, it creates this huge, steady demand for their custom chips, which basically tells the manufacturers, hey, keep that production line hot for us. It guarantees their supply.
And the final piece of the puzzle, all of this amazing hardware gets fed by a gigantic in-house training system. We're talking about things like the Dojo supercomputer and that massive data center in Texas. Tesla is building a computing beast on a scale that, honestly, most companies on the planet can only dream about.
So when you step back and look at the whole shebang, from designing their own chips from scratch to putting those chips into millions of cars and robots, and then training it all on supercomputers the size of a small city, you really have to ask yourself a question. Are we even looking at a car company anymore, or are we watching the birth of something completely different?